Hi everyone, welcome to today's tutorial, and in this video I will be showing you how you can recreate this donut, right? So it's super easy to make, and we'll be only be using geometrical shapes and nothing else. It's literally that easy, right? So let's get into it and see how that can be achieved, right? So first we'll have to create a new document. So when you open your Adobe Illustrator software, you will get an option on your screen to create a new document, right? So we can do that. So when you click on that icon, you will be greeted with this box, right? So for this video, I will be using this A4 size document, which is 210 millimeters by 297 millimeters, and I'll let the orientation be portrait, and I will give a name to my document, Doughnut. So of course, if you want, you can change the size of your document as well. You can add in your own values in the width and the height options right here, or probably choose some other you can already choose some other document provided by Adobe Illustrator right here. Okay, and let's go. Right. So before I begin, I would also like to make sure that I am in the right format, right? So just to be clear, I am in the Essential Classics options right here. So this will actually help me to see all the tools right here on your screen. So make sure you're in Essential Classics option. Okay. So first, the thing we need to do is that I've actually divided this entire donut into two parts, right? So the base is one and the sprinkles are on another layer, right? So first, what we're going to do is create and rename our layers. So when you open this document, automatically over here in this layer panel, a new layer will be opened, and it's right here, and you can see it's already been, by default, it's been named layer 1. So let's change the name as well. If you double click on this, you can rename this to, we'll name it base, because first we'll be creating the base before we add the sprinkles on top of this, right? So that's that. And let's create another layer, and similarly we'll double click on this and type in toppings, right? So first we'll be creating the base, so make sure that the base layer has been highlighted, and just as a safety thing, we'll just put a lock on the toppings layer even though there's nothing there. Okay, so to make the base, we'll go over here to this shape tool, which is right underneath the type tool. Click on this and choose the ellipse tool. Okay, before I make the circle, I would also make sure that there is no fill, right? So you just click on this icon right here with this red line going across. So this removes the fill, and I let the stroke be the way it is in black. So I'll go to the center of my document, click on Shift and Alt and drag my mouse to make a small circle like that, and let it be. Okay. Now I have to make another bigger circle, right? To do that, while that my circle is still selected, I'll go to Object and come down here to this option called Path and choose this shape, this option called Offset Path, right? So this box comes up. So what we have to do is type in our value here in this offset path, offset option right here. So this will determine that how bigger or how smaller you want your circle to be, right? So let's type it in a number. Let's type in 30, and let's see the preview. This, and you can see a bigger circle is formed, but this looks a little too small, the bigger circle, right? So let's change the value to 60 and then see. Yeah, okay, so this looks better, and click on OK. Right. So now what we have to do is also create 2 more circles where the icing will come in. Right. So we'll go back here to the smaller circle, go back to object, path, and offset path. So now let's change this. So instead of 60, let's type in 15 and see the preview. Well, it looks a little too big. Let's bring it down to probably 8. Yeah, a lot better. Okay. Now let's select this bigger circle again. Go back to object, path, and offset path. Now, one difference would be the value that we'll add now in the offset path will be in minus. So what this does is that if we add any value with a minus in front of it, it'll become a smaller version of the circle that we are creating, right? So if you remember, this bigger circle was 60 millimeters. Now let's type in minus 5 and see the preview, and there you go. Now you can see a smaller circle has been made, right? And click on OK. Actually, nah, well, I'll delete this and make this, change the value as well. I'll make this to be 5 to make it look much more symmetrical. Yep. Okay. And that's done. So this is like the basic shape of our donut, right? So if you want, we can make this even more bigger. To do that, we'll select this entire thing, and as you can see, a box is made right outside the circle, right? So we'll take the corner right here, go back and click Shift plus Alt and just make it much bigger like that. Okay, so that's because I want to make use of the A4 size document that we're using. Right, so that's done. So I'll put a lock on this, right, and unlock the toppings layer. Now we will be working on the toppings layer right here. So as you can see in this previous document, this previous illustrations, so for the toppings there are various sprinkles added on this, right? So to do that, we'll go back to the shape tool right here, click on rectangle, make sure that there is no fill, and we'll first create a sprinkles right here. So if I just click and drag my mouse, so I'll make this thin, small sprinkle about that size. I'll zoom into that. Okay. So if I go to the direct selection tool right here, and while it's still selected, you can see that there are these 4 circles that come up in front of our corners, right? So this will actually help us to round off the edges. Okay. So if I just grab one of these circles and just bring it inwards like that, so now you can see that the rectangle now becomes a lot like this. The edges now become rounded on both these sides. So you have to make sure that all the 4 sides, all the 4 points were selected. Right. So I'll go back here. And if you want, you can resize this even further, but I think this would work. I'll just grab this and place it here. So now we have to make several copies just to fill it inside here, right? So while it's still selected, I'll click on Alt and make several copies out of it and just place them randomly on my donut right here. Right, so you can make as many sprinkles as you want, like that, and one over here, and one probably over here like that, and let's just keep filling it up so it looks filled and with a lot of sprinkles. Who doesn't like a donut without sprinkles though? I mean, it looks so tasty to eat. And I think just one last sprinkle right here. Okay, now we just have to select random sprinkles and then just change their position, right? So if we click on this one sprinkle, and if I take it to the corner, my cursor changes like this to a curve like that. Now I can just rotate this in different angles, right? So let's do that, and like that. So this will take a little time, but it's totally worth it because then your donut will look more realistic, right? And probably just make this one horizontal like that. So see, when you sprinkle something, it usually falls on a random position, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be the way this one has been placed. So you just turn it around however you wanted it to be, and probably turn this one around like that. Let's just add one more sprinkle over here and one here probably. Okay, and just one last thing, I'll just move this over here a tad bit. So yeah. So yeah, the placing of the sprinkles is completely your choice, and how you want it to be, where you want the sprinkles to fall, that's your call. Okay, so now that's done, we've actually finished making the basic shape of our donut. So now the only thing that is left is to fill it in with colors, right? So I'll first start with the base color, right? So I'll just lock the toppings layer and unlock the base, right? So I'll select this entire thing. So like only the base that we created, that gets selected. I'll go over here to the shape builder tool, choose my colors, right? So like the donut, the bread, I want that to be light brown. So I'll choose this light brown color. And so like this portion gets selected, gets shaded. I'll click here, and I want this inner to be light brown as well. And now for this middle portion where the icing is, so you can choose any color of the icing, right? But I'll stick to pink, and I'll go back here and I'll make it lighter a little. Yeah, that looks good, and just click on this like that. Okay, now what we have to do is now add the colors for the toppings. I'll select all of these again, and let's start adding. So I'll choose red first. Whoops. Okay, no wait. Okay. Now I'll select this, go back to the shape builder tool, and I'll select red. Okay, I'll just start filling it like that, whichever color sprinkles you want them to be red. Like that. Let's choose another color, let's choose yellow. That, and one more probably over here. Now let's choose another color, let's choose light blue. Give these that one, this, probably this one as well. Okay, and the last color I'll choose now is white, and just fill it up like that. Okay, now it's done, and now my donut looks a lot better. Now it looks like it has sprinkles and it looks pretty tasty to eat, right? I'll unlock the base as well. And now the final thing that I have to do is now I want to remove the outline, right? So I'll select this again and go over here to the stroke panel and just click on none. So this will remove the stroke, and there you go. Our illustration for the donut has now been ready. So let's also save this document as well. So we'll go to File, click on Save As, and this box comes up. So now you have to decide where you want to save your document, and by default our Save As software, Save As type will be Adobe Illustrator. So I highly recommend that we first save our file in this format, so that in case if I want to make any changes, I can easily do that by accessing my Adobe Illustrator file. Right, so I'll name this to be Doughnut 2 and click on Save and just click OK. And that's it. And our document has now been successfully been saved. So now that we have come to the end of this video, I hope you found this tutorial to be useful, and with a little bit more practice you can create various things just by using the shape tools right here. So thank you for watching and keep practicing.